Hello everyone, I am Manankar Kole. I am currently in MEC second semester from the University of Calcutta. Today I am going to discuss about a very important paper in the field of gold catalysis. The title of the paper is Ethinyl benzyrooxalones for the direct alkylation of heterocycles, structural requirement, improved procedure for pyrols and insights into the mechanism. This paper was published in the year of 2012 by Weiser Group. So let's begin. First of all, I would like to discuss about the abstract or the message what the paper is giving to us. Okay, this paper actually portrays gold catalyzed direct alkylation of indoles, pyrols, and thiophene using hypervalent iodine reagents. Okay, now these hypervalent iodine reagents are very important structures in this particular subject. Okay, we will see them later on. We will also discuss about an improved procedure for the alkylation of pyrols, where we will be using pyridine as an additive. Okay, we will also see transfer of aromatic acetylenes to thiophene, which is also a heterocycle having sulfur. So all of these processes will actually give us access to heteroaryl acetylenes. These skeletons, heteroaryl acetylenes, they are very important molecules. We will see the importance of it later on. And lastly, we will talk about the insight into the mechanism by which these particular processes or procedures are going on. So now the question which arises in our mind is that what is so special about heteroaryl acetylenes? Now you see, we can see that these heteroaryl acetylenes, they are widely used structures in organic synthesis, and they also find application in the material science. This particular acetylene moiety is very reactive and it's very unique. That's why it allows a wide range of synthetic modification. Not only that, oligomeric and polymeric heteroaryl acetylenes are used as molecular wires, liquid crystals, sensor, etc. So now we will see the two most frequently used methods for the synthesis of alkynes. Two of these very known and very important methods. One is from carbonyl compound, which is written. We can see that is written in the left hand side, and the other is metal catalyzed Sonogashira reaction. This is a cross coupling reaction, and it is you can see it is written in the right hand side. Now, from carbonyl compounds, this particular procedure was published in the year of 1972 by Core and Fuchs. So we can see, first of all, we are starting our work with a carbonyl compound, and we can actually convert this particular carbonyl compound to this dibromoalkene in very good yield using condition A or condition B. We can see the procedure condition A and procedure of condition A and condition B are written here. Core and Fuchs also demonstrated that condition B is better than condition A. After getting this particular product, we are going to hydrolyze it in presence of THS solvent and at a very low temperature, and we are going to have this terminal alkyne moiety in very good yield, 80 to 95%. Okay, now come to this side. This is Sonogashira reaction. Sonogashira reaction is actually a metal catalyzed cross coupling reaction. Here we can see we are using copper catalyst as well as palladium catalyst to do this particular cross coupling. Okay, but both of these methods actually involve some challenges. What are those? Both of these methods need pre-functionalization of heterocyclic ring, so it may be very challenging in complex structures. Okay, and the number of linear steps are also being increased. That's why we always need some methods by which we can directly make alkyne moieties from CH functionality. So let's do that. Now we can see here I have written some catalytic direct alkylation using some metal catalyst. Firstly, you can see in the year of 2002, Yamaguchi and co-workers, they actually developed an orthoethynylation on phenol as well as on aniline using this chloroacetylene moiety in presence of GaCl3. Okay, so this was the first ever metal catalyzed orthoethynylation on phenol molecules. Later in the year of 2007, this particular group also devised first palladium catalyzed alkylation of N-fused heterocycles. You can see this is the procedure where we are using this particular bromo alkyne moiety as our coupling partner. Next, in the year of 2009 and also in the year of 2010, the group of Mayura, they actually devised nickel catalyzed as well as copper catalyzed method by which we can access those heteroaryl acetylenes. Okay, so there are some problems in these methods. These methods are conventional methods, but there are some problems because you can see in both of the processes, or in this you see we are using an haloacetylene or haloalkyne. Here we are also using a haloalkyne. Here we are also using that. So this is going to be a problem when we are going to exploit the substrate scope. Okay, so there are limited scope for this type of reactions. So what is the aim of our work? Aim of this paper or aim of this work is to develop more efficient and general methodologies of metal catalyzed alkylation. So for that, as a coupling partner, we are going to focus on reactive alkynyl iodinium salts. You can see I have drawn the structure of benzioxolones, that is a hypervalent iodine reagents, and it may be of different types depending on the variety of Z and on the variety of X. Okay, so we are going to employ this particular moiety, or we are going to employ this particular hypervalent iodine reagent as our cross coupling partner. Okay, now before proceeding further, we will see that this particular group, that means the Weiser group, previously also developed some processes. You can see here I have written direct alkylation of indoles and pyroles. Okay, so here we are actually alkylating indole molecule in presence of this particular reagent, which is known as TIPS EBX. You can see this is known as EBX moiety, and there is a TIPS, that is triisopropyl silyl group here. That's why it is called TIPS EBX. In the you can see where the catalyst here is AuCl, which is taken in 5 mole percentage, and we are getting this particular heteroaryl acetylenes, where you can see this acetylene moiety or this alkyne moiety is actually inserted into the C3 position of the indole. Okay, Weiser group demonstrated several examples. There are 16 examples and the yields are very good, from 67% to 93%. Okay, they also employed pyridine into the same condition. Okay, but sadly you can see there are very limited substrate group. There is only 8 examples and the yield is not very good. It is almost 48 to 79%. So what is the limitation of this process? The limitation of this process is the yield for pyroles were usually lower. Okay, Weiser group also reported direct alkylation on thiophene molecule. So this is our thiophene molecule and we are employing the same condition. We are using TIPS EBX 5 mole percentage of AuCl. Here the solvent is different, just to solubilize the molecules and at room temperature. But the main difference here you can see here is the presence of TFA. What is actually TFA doing, or why we are using TFA? Now we have to analyze that. You know, or we all know that thiophene molecule is actually not that nucleophilic. Thiophene molecule is lesser nucleophilic than pyrrole as well as than that of indole. That's why we need this particular acid, trifluoroacetic acid, which will actually act as a Bronsted acid, and it will play a cooperative role with the gold catalyst and going to give us these products. Okay, so Weiser group actually demonstrated several examples here. 21 examples are there, and it is good. It is good, 48 to 83%. So now the question is what this work actually focuses. This work focuses upon the improved yield for the alkylation of pyrrole. So we will be devising some methods by which we can increase the yield for the pyrrole molecule from 48 to 79% to 56 to 97%. Okay, now this paper was the first one where they have actually studied of the influence of reagent structure. Reagent structure means we will see how we can devise or how we can make different EBX molecules, different hypervalent iodine reagents to make a structure activity relationship and increase the reaction rate and efficiency. Okay, and obviously we will further investigate toward the elucidation of the reaction mechanism. So now we will see the improved procedure for pyrrole alkynylation. So first we need to answer the question why the previous process gave low yield for pyroles. Weisharup hypothesized that it may be due to competitive degradation of pyroles by traces of HCl generated from AuCl. So what is actually happening in presence of gold catalyst? There is generation of an acid which is hydrochloric acid, and this hydrochloric acid is actually going to degrade or destroy this pyrrole molecule. That's why the yield may be low. So what is the way out? The way out is to use a mild base which can quench or which can scavenge this adventitious hydrochloric acid, right? So for that reason they used pyridine here. Pyridine can act as a mild base and it may quench the adventitious acid. So Weisharup employed pyridine here. The rest of the condition remains same, and surprisingly or and very good yield was obtained. Okay, we will see some substrate scope of the improved procedure. You can see the lowest yield here is 56% and the highest yield here is 97%. Now you can also see the regioselectivity of the reaction also gets increased, right? You can see this alkynylated product is known as C2 product. Here this alkyne moiety is inserted into the C2 position, and here it is inserted at the C3 position. You can see the regioselectivity is getting increased. We will be getting this C2 product in much more amount, that is 71%. So that was another improved thing before previous one. Okay, so from the previous one this is another improved version. Okay, now we will try to speculate what is the role of pyridine here. Pyridine may act as a base. Pyridine can also act as a ligand. So Weisharup actually added pyridine into the system, and they thought that it will act as a base and it will be going to quench that adventitious acid. But it can also play the role of a ligand. Okay, so how to distinguish it? For distinguishing, we are using, or actually they examined diterbutyl as an additive, and they observed that no increase in yield. There was no increase in yield. So what is the inference which can be drawn from here? That pyridine acting as a ligand and not as a base. So now you see, Weisharup actually added pyridine and they thought that it will act as a base, but actually it is going to act as a ligand. So now the same question again comes again. So why lower yield was there in absence of pyridine? So now they told that that may be due to the higher Lewis acidity of the gold catalyst. Okay, now uh, we will discuss about the synthesis and study of alkynyl benzidooxalones. Okay, so what is our goal here? The goal here is to realize a more precise structure activity relationship study of the alkynyl benzidooxalone reagents. Okay, we are also going to examine if the method could be extended to the transfer of alkynes without a silyl protecting group. So till now, while alkynylating, we are always using TIPS EVX as our coupling partner, and there you can see the alkyne moiety was silyl protected. So now we have to examine if this method could be extended without the silyl protecting group. Okay, so we are actually trying to develop truly efficient processes, and we will be studying the structure activity relationship of the alkynyl benzidooxalone systems. Before proceeding further, we have to know about the history of alkynyl benzidooxalones. These molecules were first reported and structurally characterized in the year of 1991 by OGI and Shiro. Okay. Later in the year of 1996, Zadankin and co-workers, they published an improved synthesis of this class of reagents, including TIPS-CVX for the first time. Okay, but sadly back then these compounds did not find any application in organic synthesis. Or I can also say that in the field of gold catalysis, these molecules, that means these EVX molecules, very recently found its application. It's almost in 2008 2010 in this time. Okay. Okay, now Weiser group actually synthesized this silyl ethinyl benzidooxylones molecule. Now this is not very new because these methods which are actually written over here was actually done by Zadankin group in the paper which was published in 1996. So Weiser group actually followed those protocols and they synthesized this TIPS EVX, as well as they also synthesized this new silylethanol benzidooxylones, where you can see I have written this as R group. Now this R may be different. At the left hand side I have written R is equal to SiMe3, R is equal to SiEt3. The point which has to be noted here is that you can see these two groups, that means SiMe3 and SiEt3, they are actually smaller in size than the groups which are written in these sites. Okay, R is here SiMe2TBU, that is obviously larger, and when R is SiPH2TBU, this is larger silyl groups. Okay, okay. Now we will be investigating this particular BX reagents, the silyl ethinyl benzidooxylenone reagents, using our indole molecule. Okay, so the condition is very similar. The difference is here we will be using different types of silyl ethinyl benzidooxylones. Okay, we are getting this product undoubtedly. Now I can see there will be different product. When R is SiMe3, we will be obtaining 4A, and when R is SiEt3, we will be obtaining 4B. You can see when R is SiMe3 or SiEt3, that means when the silyl groups are smaller in size, the yield is not that good, right? And here it is written 57% in CH3CN. Why CH3CN is used here? Because Weiser group thought that this molecule and this molecule, when R is SiEt3, they are not very soluble in ET2. That's why they are using CH3CN to for that problem, for that solubility problem, and the yield is increased, but not that much. Not that much means you can see when R is very large, when the silyl groups are large like this, the yield is excellent, 78%, 91%, 86%. Okay, so what is the observation from here? Reagents with bulky silyl group, they are actually working well, and low yield was obtained for smaller silyl groups. Okay, now the question comes into our mind, why small groups give low yield? Okay, for the answer, we have to investigate the stability of the catalyst in presence of TMS AVX. For that, we are going to do an experiment where first of all TIPS AVX and indole, they were added to a premixed solution of UCl and TMS AVX. If this is actually done, a low yield was obtained, which is only 8%. But if we do the reverse process, that means TIPS TMS EVX and indole were added to a premixed solution of UCl and TIPS EVX, then the yield was not decreased. Okay, so what should be the probable indication? The indication is that TMS EVX is actually somehow degrading this AUCl. So it is degrading our catalyst. That's why in presence of TMS EVX, the yield of that system, of that coupled product, that is heteroaryl acetylenes, is lower. Okay. Acha. Now we will move to alkynylation of 2-hexyl thiophene. Okay, so we are using this 2-hexyl thiophene in presence of the same condition, you can see. Okay, and TFA should be used because it is thiophene. Okay, so we can see when R is smaller in size, R is SiMe3 or R is SiEt3, traces of product have been obtained, and when R is bigger, R is larger in size, the yield is higher. Okay, and this is very obvious, which we have already discussed in case of indole. Okay, but here there is another observation. The observation is that no TMS EVX was remaining. So what should be the probable reason behind that? That may be due to the degradation of the reagent under acidic condition. And one thing I have to mention here is that Yes, we have been using TIP-CVX for a long time, but here the triisopropyl product was difficult to separate whether the tart butyl phenyl silyl group, this one, it actually allowed it easy separation. Okay. Okay, now we will see the importance of silyl acetylenes and what may be our next plan. The importance is high efficiency is observed for the transfer of silyl acetylenes. You can see in every processes, in every methods, we have seen high efficiency. Easy deprotection of the products gave access to terminal acetylenes which can be further functionalized. So we have been using TIP CVX, we have been using silyl protected moieties. So by that we can get terminal acetylenes which will be silyl protected, but we can actually deprotect that silyl group and can make terminal acetylenes which can be further functionalized. Now our next plan is to transfer aryl or alkyl acetylenes directly. So now we are going to use aryl and alkyl acetylenes without that silyl protecting group. Okay, so we will be investigating now using aryl and alkyl EVX reagents. Okay, so we have done it. We have done it again on the indole moiety. Okay, but you see, when R is pH, traces of product is being obtained. When R is NBU, normal butyl group, no reaction occurs at all. And when R is TBU, very low yield is observed. So it is not actually working. But one point is to be noted here, that first it was actually the first example of the transfer of alkyl acetylenes by using gold catalysis. Okay, this was the first example. Here we are getting yield that may be low, but we are getting something. Okay, okay. Now an interesting thing occurs here. What is that? When we are using thiophene system, the yield is lower. No doubt the yield is lower, but here is some reaction which is taking place. Now this is very surprising. Why is it surprising? Because we know that thiophenes are lower. Thiophenes are lower nucleophilic. That means the nucleophilicity of thiophene is lower than that of indole and pyrrole, but it is reacting. Why is it so? So Weiser group thought, is it because for the presence of TFA? Okay, so to investigate if it is because of TFA, they submitted indole into this thiophene alkylation procedure. Okay, but the problem is that here again you see the regioselectivity is getting hampered here, right? And the yield is actually decreased. Okay, now to investigate why the regioselectivity in case of indole is getting lowered in presence of TFA, you can see the yield is also getting lowered, that is 29%. Okay, so lower yields in presence of acid. Why is it so? It is very obvious. It is due to the higher acid sensitivity of electron rich heterocycles. Okay, and also regioselectivity is changed in presence of pH EBX, that may be due to the change in mechanism. Okay, okay. So what are the inferences we can draw from here? Bulky silyl groups, they are going to be superior, and the probable reasons behind that should be, or maybe improved solubility and stability and more electron rich carbon silicon bond. Okay, now Weiser group, now what they actually did, they actually synthesized some analogs of deep CVX, and I am not going to discuss this process because this was actually done by Zadankin group in the year of 1996 in that paper. Okay, so this is the method by which we can prepare different tips EVX, or we can say them as the analogs of tips EVX. You can see the analogs here, and actually this is a library of molecules which are named as 12A, 12B, 12C, 12D, etc. Okay, okay. Now, till now, what we have actually synthesized, or Weiser group actually synthesized, those molecules where this particular moiety was present, but here you may have observed that here it is always the carbonyl moiety, right? But Weiser group now uh, synthesized a molecule, synthesized hypervalent iodine reagent where that carbonyl group is not at all present. Here two methyl groups are present. Okay, and this is named as 14. Okay, now what we will do actually, we will actually alkynylate the indole again in presence of those tips analogs, you can see for everything, for every TIPS analogs, the yield is excellent. But for 12H and 14, okay, I will show you the 14. This is 14 and this is 12H. Also for 12G, you can see for 12G the yield is low. For 12H there is no yield at all. Why is it so? So this is our question now. Why is it so? You can answer this question if you see these molecules very carefully. You can see in this molecule there is no carbonyl moiety. Except 12G, there is always the presence of carbonyl moiety here, right? And also in case of 12H, this is not cyclic at all. Okay, and in 14 there is no carbonyl moiety. So what is the inference from here? The inference from here is that the carbonyl group is an essential component of the reagent for an efficient alkynylation. So carbonyl group must be present there for efficient alkynylation. Okay, now we will try to talk about the mechanistic investigations what Weiser Group has proposed in their paper. Weiser Group actually proposed three main mechanisms, namely the first of all is pi activation mechanism, then we will see AU1 AU3 catalysis mechanism, and the last is Lewis acid activation mechanism. Okay, so at first we will see the pi activation mechanism. You can see here I have drawn the scheme. So here is our catalyst AUX. We have been using AuCl for this. Suppose it is AUX now. Okay, and this is our EBX reagent. This is actually TIPS EBX. Okay, now what is happening? We know AU can play the role of a soft acid. That's why whenever it is seeing that here is an alkyne system, it is actually coordinating to the alkyne system. Okay, so, and this path is known as the pi activation. Okay, and we are getting this intermediate A. Now a Friedel-Crafts type reaction is occurring on this indole moiety, which is nothing but a nucleophilic atom, and we are going to generate an intermediate B. Okay, now B upon alpha elimination or 1 to indole shift is giving us the product and regenerating our catalyst. So this is the pi activation mechanism. Now we will see the oxidative mechanism. In oxidative mechanism, what is happening? You see, AUX is actually undergoing an oxidative addition with this TIPS EVX, and it is going to generate this product. Okay, that's not the product, that's an intermediate A. Now you can see as oxidative addition is here, AU1 is oxidized to AU3. Okay, now indole is coming and electrophilic oration is taking place. We are getting these 15 molecule as a byproduct, and we are going to generate the system B. Okay, B under reductive elimination is going to give us a product, and the catalyst is regenerating. Okay, so this is oxidative mechanism. The last one is, now we will see the Lewis acid activation mechanism. As you can see, what Weiser Group thought? Weiser Group thought that this AUX can play the role of a Lewis acid, and it can play the role of a Lewis acid on this TIPS EVX, and it may generate this system A. Okay, now A upon carbon transfer complex formation on this indole moiety is going to generate this B system. Now according to Kita et al, they thought that this B can undergo single electron transfer mechanism to give us C. Okay, now this intermediate C, it can give us product in different ways. It can directly give us this product, our product, and this path you can see I have named this as path A. Okay, this intermediate C can also go to intermediate D via path B, and intermediate D via ligand coupling is giving us the product. Okay, and another path is that is path C. This A means this can directly interact with indole molecule and give us this D, which upon ligand coupling is going to generate our product. Okay, so this is the Lewis acid activation mechanism. But there are some drawbacks for mechanistic investigations. What are those? Study of mechanism with TIPS EVX is difficult. Okay, now the question is why. The reasons may be reproducible kinetic measurements are very difficult due to the heterogeneous nature of AuCl. So you see, our catalyst is here AuCl, right? But The problem is that the nature of the solution is heterogeneous. That's why it is very difficult for kinetic measurements. Okay, not only that, electron rich ligands like phosphines or carbons, they also inhibit the reaction. Okay, so these are some problems here. So what is the way out? The way out here is that we have to use indirect evidences. Okay, let's see. Okay, this is another one where from this slide we will be going to infer that no silicium shift occurs in this reaction. You can see I have been using this tip CVX where this carbon is isotopically labeled with this indole moiety. Okay, and we are getting this product. Okay, so what are the inference from this isotope study? The inference is addition of indole in alpha position followed by tips 1 to shift. It can be ruled out, but the reverse one, that means 1 to shift of indole, that cannot be excluded. Okay. Now we will go to discuss about Sate and Lewis acid mechanism. Now these Sate pathways, they are less likely. Why is it so? Acha, because the high aromatic electrophilic substitution reduces selectivity with indoles that would not be in agreement. So if we think that Sate pathways or this Lewis acid mechanism is going on, then the aromatic electrophilic substitution mechanism on indole is not going to work. Okay, but it actually works. So that means Lewis acid mechanism is not there at all. No formation of heterocycle dimers was observed. So if Sate mechanism is there, there will be formation of radicals, and radicals are going to generate heterocyclic dimers, but there is no formation of heterocyclic dimers. Not only that, no addition of TMSN3 on the heterocycle was observed. Direct attack on indole also appeared less probable. And lastly, no alkylation was observed in an extended screening of Lewis and Bronsted acid. Weiser group actually used different type of Lewis and Bronsted acids, but they see no reaction at all in those cases. That's why from this slide we can say that Sate pathways, they are less likely. Okay, so before this slide we have three mechanisms. They are bioactivation mechanism, AU1 AU3 catalysis mechanism, and this Sate and Lewis acid mechanism. So now we have eliminated with the help of some experiments that Sate and Lewis acid mechanism is not at all there. Okay, so now we have two mechanisms, bioactivation mechanism and AU1 AU3 catalysis mechanism. Okay, so now we will investigate and we will do some competitive experiments. So what we are doing, we are using a mixture of 5-cyanoindole and indole and employing them in similar conditions, we are getting this product. You can see the ratio of these products. When these 5-cyanoindole and indole, they are mixed, the product are obtained in 3.0:1 ratio. Okay, and when 5-cyanoindole and 5-methoxyindole, they are added or they are mixed and they are employed into the same condition, we are getting the products in 3.7:1 ratio. Okay, so what does it mean? You can see Cn is an electron withdrawing group, and OMe, this is an electron donating group. So OMe is getting higher yield. OMe is giving, whenever there is OMe, they are getting higher yield. That means an electrophilic attack on the indole is part of the RDS, rate determining step of the reaction. Okay, they have also carried out another competitive experiment on that is actually a kinetic isotope study. We can see 37% deuterated indole. This one is 37% deuterated indole. This was submitted to the reaction conditions in presence of pyridine with and without TIPCPX. The observation was that same deuterium enrichment was observed. So what should be the inference? The inference is cleavage of CH bond is not occurring during the rate determining step. Okay. Okay, now we will investigate the AU3 catalysis mode. For that, Weiser group, what they actually did, they use indole along with tip CBX, but now we are using a different gold catalyst. You can see now this is our catalyst. And one thing which I want to mention here is that mechanism involving this particular AU catalyst, uh, study of mechanism involving this particular AU catalyst is very easy because it is not going to generate a heterogeneous solution like AuCl. In this case, the solution is clear and kinetic experiments are easier to examine. Okay. Okay, so we are using this particular gold catalyst and the same reaction is taking place, we are getting our product. Okay, and you can also see we are using CH2Cl2 here and we are getting product. Okay, now what we will do, we will actually employ this catalyst and we will study the kinetics now. So Weiser group actually studied kinetics employing this catalyst, and you see different EBX reagents are used and the yield versus reaction time is plotted over here. Okay, so what are the informations we are getting from this graph? We are getting this that 5-methyl TCVX and 4,5-dimethoxy TCVX, they are giving similar kinetics as TCVX, but 5-fluoro and 5-nitro TCVX have higher initial rates but slightly low final rates. Okay, you can see from the graph, 5-fluoro and 5-nitro TCVX, this one and this one, right? They are giving lower yield. Okay, okay, and which are giving higher yield, you can see 3-methyl TCVX and 6-methyl TCVX, they are giving higher yield, and it is written 3-methyl TCVX and 6-methyl TCVX, they lead to highest reaction rates. So what should be the explanation? The explanation is accelerating effect of the para electron withdrawing group would be in accordance with a rate limiting step involving electrophilic attack of the reagent. Okay, so it also establishes that in the rate determining step, what is actually happening, electrophilic attack of the reagent, and that was actually a step in pi activation mechanism. So pi activation mechanism is actually operating. Okay, another interesting fact is that introduction of methyl group at 3 or 6 position had stronger effect, and it was startling, but Weiser group actually demonstrated that using the X-ray structures of those molecules. Okay, they showed that 3 or 6 methyl group at 3 or 6 position, they will have a stronger effect. Okay, okay, so pi activation mechanism that is actually operating. We have eliminated this Lewis acid mechanism. So what we are left with? We are left with the AU1 AU3 mode, AU1 AU3 catalytic cycle. So for that we are going to do another control experiment. For that we are using this TCVX along with AuCl in presence of Cl2Cl2, and we are getting this bis alkyne here. But whenever this particular TCVX is reacting with our new catalyst, this one in presence of Cl2Cl2, this is no reaction at all. There is no reaction at all. But you see, but we see when indole is actually mixed with this reagent in presence of Cl2Cl2, we are getting something. If we carry out reaction on that mixture or on that solution, what we get, this actually gave product when it is added to TCVX. So that may be due to the formation of an active catalyst. So what we can say from here, that indole is enough electron rich to reduce AU3 to AU1 in situ, and the inference from here is that AU1 AU3 catalytic cycle that also might be operative. So now we have two mechanisms, pi activation mechanisms and AU1 AU3 catalytic cycle. Both of them can be operative in our procedures. So now we will talk about the conclusions. Conclusions: a mechanism involving attack on iodine or SAID processes is less probable, which we have already established that SAID process or Lewis acid mechanism is not actually operative at all. Electrophilic attack on the indole is rate limiting as demonstrated by competitive experiments, and that electrophilic attack is actually a rate determining step which was a part in by activation mechanism. Okay, and the last step where the re-aromatization is taking place through proton transfer, that is very fast, and no significant kinetic isotope effect could be observed. Okay, so I would like to thank Dr. Patil for giving me this opportunity and this constant encouragement. That's it from my side. Thank you.